What was the first reason that made you say yes for this film?
प्यार करो तो अनकंडीशनल वाला होना चाहिए. मेरा ऐसा फिल्मों को लेके है, स्क्रिप्ट्स को लेके है कि if you're committing to a script and a character, then it has to be unconditional. ये तो एक लड़की है जो ऐसे सिचुएशन में इराक में तब अटक गई थी जब आइसिस ने अटैक किया था. I think women have had the worst brutality of a terror attack like that because उनके लिए एक बार में वो खत्म नहीं होता. It was a repeated thing.
How much does the character of a film impact you after the film is done?
First time I put myself into something like this was for आकाशवाणी. But it was almost like एक ही फिल्म है. उस वक्त नहीं सोचा था कि there will be more characters like this or more films like this where I'll have to keep taking on these emotions. I think it happened back to back with me when I did Chori. Then I did this, and then right after finishing this. Hi, I'm Nushrratt Bharuccha, and you're watching me on Bollywood Hungama with the lovely Urmil.
Hi guys, my name is Urmin and welcome to Bollywood Hungama. I love this woman because she's got a different kind of energy. ये अकेली एक लड़की है या फिर मैं कहूँ छोरी है जो ऐसी छलांग मारती है that she makes her film on her own successful. इन्हें किसी एक्टर की ज़रूरत नहीं है क्योंकि ये खुद ही ऐसी कमाल की काबिल औरत है यार, क्या ही बताए. I love the fact that her films also come up with social messages जो जनहित में जारी है. Including प्यार का पंचनामा and सोनू की टीटू की सीटी. Social message तो है. Nushrratt Bharuccha.
If you're really looking. Thanks.
How are you doing?
I'm very good. How are you?
कितनी कमाल की लग रही है आप. Did you wake up like this?
I wish I could, but I don't think you want to see me when I wake up.
What's your morning routine like? Let's start with that.
Let's not have a morning. It's my first morning funda. Please, can I wake up in the afternoon? Can it be an afternoon routine? नहीं, nothing. I wake up जितनी मल्टीविटामिन्स जो ड्रिंक्स लेने होते हैं सुबह सुबह के, ये मिल्क वो मिल्क ये पानी ये डिटॉक्स वो सब करने के बाद I work out. Then after workout I plan the rest of my day.
Okay.
कहाँ मीटिंग्स करनी है, कहाँ जाना है, कहाँ नहीं जाना है. If the day is free, then either I watch a film in a theater, or I catch up with some friends, or I read scripts because there are a lot of scripts to read. So फिलहाल में दिन मेरा ये है.
Lovely.
जब काम होता है तो फिर तो मत ही पूछो. And I don't think anybody wants to know what the day is like.
Then there are like cups and cups of coffee and you know all of that. So नई फिल्म आ रही है. My God, the trailer looks so impactful. Again, you experimenting with your talent. Let's just say that. I love that about you, Nushrratt. There's always something different. There's a layer that you keep adding on to. So tell us all about Akelli. I want to know, what was the first reason that made you say yes for this film?
I think when the film first came to me, I had actually said no to it.
Okay.
It came to me 3 years back, just before lockdown. And at that time, the director was new. I didn't know anybody in the team. I read the film and I know what this film stands for and what this film is saying. And I think it's very important for the makers as well as the actors to be ready for a film like this. I don't mean prep-wise ready. I mean mentally ready, having your heart in the right place, knowing that, okay, this film is going to need a lot and it has to be done right and you have to be ready. You know, where you say, प्यार करो तो unconditional वाला होना चाहिए. मेरा ऐसा फिल्मों को लेके है, scripts को लेके है. कि if you're committing to a script and a character, then it has to be unconditional. It can't be conditions कि मैं ये नहीं करूँगी, वो नहीं करूँगी, ये ऐसे हो, ये वैसे हो. That's really not the ethos from where I come when I read a film. So at that point, because I knew कि मैं इतनी heavy film इस वक्त शायद एकदम अच्छे से नहीं कर पाऊँ, या I am not ready to take this character, this life or this world on, तो मैंने 3 साल पहले उसको मना कर दिया था. I said, sir, maybe not me. I in fact suggested also, मैंने कहा maybe you can take it to an actor like this. I'd given him ideas of who to take the film to. I said maybe they will be correct for this space right now. But somehow I think somewhere universe works in ways you can't understand. Even right now I'm debating ये क्यों हो रहा है, कैसे हो रहा है, क्यों नहीं हो रहा है. But I know like a week later, 10 days later, a month later, I will know exactly why this has happened today, like this. So for 3, मैंने मना किया और lockdown हो गया. So even if he would have wanted to make the film with someone, which I don't know, you can ask him, there was no way he could have done it because ये फिल्म हमें बाहर जाके ही शूट करनी पड़ती है. It's not something you could shoot in India. And Bombay, India में ही शूट नहीं हो पा रही थी फिल्में because of all of those SOPs that you had to follow and COVID जो फैला था, तो फिल्म रुक गई. And जो वक्त के लिए वो रुकी, I think he worked a lot on the film because even he was sitting at home as a director, he was only thinking about it. And somewhere, you know, even though I said no to it, when a script and a film keeps coming back into your memory, when a certain scene I read or a certain thing that happened with that character comes flashing back, even if I'm sitting and having coffee with some random people, I'm like, अरे वो फिल्म का मैंने वो scene पढ़ा था, बड़ा interesting scene था. I wonder वो क्या वो shoot कर रहे हैं, वो scene इस वक्त किसके साथ कर रहे हैं, क्या कर रहे हैं. So those thoughts kept coming back to me on Akelli. And 3 years later, lockdown opened and the director had completely made a script which was airtight, and he attached certain people to the film that were correct for the film. From my producers to my creative producers to the DOP to the production head to the art designer, everybody on the film just seemed like ये लोग एकदम correct है इस film के लिए. तो 3 साल बाद he came back to me with the film. And don't ask me what I was 3 years later, what became ready in me or how I kind of read the film and I felt कि यार ये करनी है, ये बोलनी है. And their timelines were also very strict. They said, if you say yes now, we need to shoot this film within this timeline, which means in the next 1.5 months, you will be on a set.
Right.
So that's all you have to get into this film and to do it. And I said yes.
And they don't look like, of course, they're not lavish sets where, you know,
there is no set डालेंगे. Actually ऐसे ही रेगिस्तान जैसे fields थे जहाँ हम इसी धूल मिट्टी तो मैं कह रही हूँ बहुत normal है यार इस film के लिए. That is not at all the ये तो problem लगती नहीं है. But what the character has gone through. And ये तो एक लड़की है जो ऐसे situation में इराक में तब अटक गई थी जब ISIS ने attack किया था. If you read about all the atrocities and tortures done on women, I think women have had the worst brutality of a terror attack like that. Because उनके लिए एक बार में वो खत्म नहीं होता. It was a repeated thing. It was repeated. They were sold for that. They were tortured for that. Not by one, but I can't even tell you how many people. A lot of women gave up, died. A lot of people must have killed themselves. Must have tried to run. In the pursuit of running, they were shot. I mean, the material out there is so nerve-wrenching, heart-wrenching, nerve-wrenching, soul-wrenching that वो ना मैं पढ़ के मेरे को रखना पड़ता है. मैंने कहा मैं I think as human beings we have a tendency कि बहुत ज़्यादा hard hitting और emotionally हमें जो down करती है ना, उन चीज़ों से हम थोड़ा हटते जाते हैं कि भाई नहीं जानना नहीं है तो disturb नहीं होंगे. But as an actor and as a team हमें वो सारी चीज़ें वो पूरे schedule में रोज़ visit करनी पड़ी, रोज़ जाननी पड़ी. We actually all of us took that trauma on us for those 45 days every day to be able to tell one story right. Now, I'm talking about I don't know how many thousands and thousands of people who've suffered and we don't even know about it.
How much does the character of a film impact you after the film is done?
A lot, yeah. A lot. And
Because this must be like, you know, there's so much that you're also reading up to build your character. So I'm sure.
And you know, अगर आप देखो मेरी पहली की films ना, they were very light-hearted,
Right.
fun films. And we had a lot of fun on those sets while shooting that film. कि वो पता ही नहीं था क्या होता है. I think the first time I put myself into something like this was for Akashvani. But it was almost like एक ही film है. उस वक्त नहीं सोचा था कि there will be more characters like this or more films like this where I'll have to keep taking on these emotions. I think it happened back to back with me when I did Chori, then I did this, and then right after finishing this, I've come back from shooting Akelli in October, and second week November, I was shooting Chori 2. So I again went back into this. So ये lately ना बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया है मेरे लिए. And I've said this in a couple of interviews, and I think we should put it into practice. An actor should choose to do it. I mean, I don't think anybody else. We should seek therapy or help or talk to someone just to kind of take all this out of us. Because कितना भी कोशिश कर लो, I'm not an actor who can switch on and off. I really need time to get in. And when I'm in, then I like to stay there. I can't distract myself from that. And I don't even know how much time that trauma stays in me or those thoughts stay in me even after shooting is done. I don't know. Like suddenly one morning I'll wake up feeling so low, and I don't know why I'm feeling low. I'm at my house. I'm not doing those scenes, but I sit and think of those scenes. I sit and think of, and honestly, जब आपके साथ ये सब मेरे साथ ये सब हुआ नहीं है, तो where do I get that emotion from? So even to perform it on set that day, I have to go back to all the traumas I went through,
Right.
whichever my traumas were. Now people don't visit their traumas. They want to forget. Memories fade. As actors, we choose to go back to that on a daily basis. So it's not healthy. It's not good for our mental, emotional, any being. So I really think that and for me though specifically, I feel like I've taken 3 such films on that I really need to go and talk to someone to just kind of, even though right now I feel like I'm fine. But that's what it is. On the face value,
Right.
you think it's all okay, but you don't know when it suddenly jumps back at you. So that doesn't happen, I think we should go and kind
Yeah,
of...
because controlling your emotions are, of course, people can achieve it, but as actors, because you all have one project after the
After
other,
another, it's
do you tell yourself that you need a break after
I
the
have
project?
taken a break. I finished Chori in Jan. I'm talking to you in August now. Jan to August,
That's
I've not shot for a single thing. I've not gone on a set. I've read scripts, but I've not put myself in live and action on any set in any film purposely, because I felt very heavy.
Right.
And people don't get that. They won't get it. It's not something anybody can understand if you don't actually live it. That how it is not possible, to bring yourself out of something because you don't even know you're deep into it.
Right.
आप address तब करोगे जब आपको awareness होगी. So I feel like we really should. I should at least.
But that's great.
Start doing it.
Also knowing the fact that you want that break,
Yeah.
the fact that you are taking that effort says a lot. Nushrratt, as you were mentioning your films, and we can see that you started off with light-hearted comedy. There were these roles that you did that we really enjoyed you in. Also hated you because of the roles that
That's fine.
Love to hate you. Like ये इसके साथ कुछ होना चाहिए. It's such a good feeling, yeah, isn't it? But then there were films that has a whole different definition of what Nushrratt Bharuccha chooses. Is that a conscious effort? Are you enjoying it? Are you enjoying that there's always something different? और मैंने ये कहा कि एक अकेली लड़की, you managed to stand tall in a film. There's nobody needed around you to make it a hit. I love that.
I don't know if I've consciously chosen it. I don't think I have, because I've honestly been a person who's loved being in my Pyar Ka Panchnamas. I've loved being in my Dream Girl. I've loved it. It's a part of me that is so filmy, is so like old school Bollywood that it cannot get out of me. Like I would do that in a heartbeat. But I think these films, these makers, these directors, they've found me. They've actually come to me, and it's universe working in mysterious ways. There's no other explanation for it. They've come and they've said, we want you to do this. I think the only thing that you can credit me is that I've had the courage to choose it. I've not been scared and shied away from it saying कि नहीं ये ऐसे कैसे कर सकती हूँ, ये कैसे हो सकता है. Like I think the first thing I chose to do like that, which was completely opposite of everything I had done, was the Jeev Das dance.
Oh, yeah.
Where a lot of people said, they said you're going to be a maid, and like, wait, but you're Dil Chori. You're the red sari girl. I'm like, what? No, I'm me. And I want to do different things. So yeah, I think the story is very interesting, and I want to see if I can do it. I think it was my own excitement for it, or my own inquisitory thing as an actor कि मुझे जानना है कि मैं कर सकती हूँ कि मैं नहीं कर सकती.
Have you regretted saying yes anytime?
A couple of times, yeah. I can't tell you what.
Sure.
Clearly. I think the regret is not because the film didn't turn out well or it became a flop. It's not about the hit or flop of it that makes me feel कि shit ये नहीं करनी चाहिए थी. I think it's about the experience on that set, shooting that film.
Right.
When you're with people who you don't like working with suddenly, or the creative forces are on extreme ends, or you're just not vibing. And I'm a very vibe person. I can't be on a set and be upset.
Right.
Or I can't be parishan. Or I can't be bothered, and I can't have fights, and I can't have egos, and those things affect me a lot while working on a set, and then I would rather not be in that film.
Yeah.
So that the filming experience of certain films were not fun at all.
So
That
definitely
I'm-
the energy around you has to be just perfect.
Correct.
And everything needs to be perfect. I want to just add the fact that including this gamla that we have spoken about for 5 minutes before the interview started, that why is it here? Why are these roses looking like humko to sar bata diya hai?
No, I'm thinking, haven't we been doing this since a decade now, guys? Like, films have changed, everything has changed. Ye kyun nahi badalta? They're very pretty. But we could try something new, maybe. You know,
Yeah, we were
all-
wondering that, with the...
Yeah, like, why are the pink roses? And then also pink. He's not leaving me only.
So, आपने कहा that, you said no to the film 3 years ago. And then everything fit in and you wanted to do the film. During the shoot of the film with, ये जो हम देख रहे हैं, trailer में आप देखोगे कि that, ऐसे हालातों में shoot किया गया है. Was there a point that was the most challenging for you? Do you remember?
I think the physical abuse scenes, especially for me, are always going to be challenging because just reading of it or hearing stories of it makes my skin crawl. Like it makes me just want to run away from. And sometimes when you are like at your gut something just horrifies you,
Right.
and you don't know how to react to that. I've had those. Like I have physically, literally jerked. Like my body is like gone like that physically without me doing it. Just hearing of something, I've just gone like this.
Yeah.
So when that, like the bottom of your pit makes you sick and makes you like jolts you up like that, those things are always going to be the most difficult things a girl goes and puts herself into.
Right.
To just be able to act it and perform it, and to do justice to those emotions, because anybody watching it, and if they've gone through it, they have to watch me and feel the pain.
Right.
If they feel कि नहीं ये वैसा नहीं है जैसा ये कर रही है, तो I'll die. I think as an actor, I'll just,
such
yeah.
a tricky scene. Because when you're acting it out, when you're watching it, there are these mixed emotions running through. And while you're talking about it also, along with me, there are people who are watching this interview can feel it. Like we've unfortunately all had some trauma around it. Moving ahead, you're also somebody who has managed to balance from films in the theater, we watch you on OTT. What do you feel about the OTT world? Are you enjoying it? Are you enjoying...
There was a time when theatres were not operational. Everybody was either watching something on OTT or was shooting something for
Right.
the OTT. I can't discount a platform that gave us a new lease of life in those 2 years of lockdown, or 1.5 years, or 3 years, however much time it was for
Everyone,
whoever. I feel forget me doing something on the platform if I didn't have a platform during COVID to watch something on, to keep myself entertained, or to distract myself for the horror that COVID was and the fear that I had. I had 3 senior citizens at home, my mom, dad, dadi. I was petrified if I even had a doorbell ring, or if I opened my phone and saw what happened, new death, new cases rising, oxygen not there, no place in hospitals. It was just so terrifying that the only thing that distracted all of us, like I used to do family nights and put on a film with my daddy, dad and mom. We would cook, we would sit in a dark room, watch a film, just so that they also distract themselves from
Right.
that and de-stress, and that kept us going. It
Yeah.
got us through those lockdown phases, and I at least had family. There were people stuck without anyone. They were in
Yeah.
absolute solitude. All they had was this or their phones. So they really got us through tough times. Of course, the fact that the content on an OTT platform is so vast, is so varied, that I think during that time it educated audiences on world cinema, on world content. Where I was watching shows of languages I had not even thought of or heard of that I'll ever watch, because reading subtitles was not easy for me. I developed that habit of doing that I'm reading and I'm also watching, and if I miss a scene, then I rewind it and watch the scene, because now I know what they're saying.
Right.
But that opened up, I think, audiences to a better taste. They evolved. Now when they see a product which is not great, they'll tell you मज़ा नहीं आया. They can't tell you अच्छा क्या नहीं है, but they feel it because they've seen things जिसमें बहुत मज़ा आता है.
Right.
Like when you see a thriller made by some other country and some other language and some other milieu, you're like क्या बनाया है? And when you see a thriller then which you've seen years के साथ, you said ये तो अच्छा नहीं है, वो बड़ा interesting था. So the comparisons and just your exposure to so much content made audiences also evolve, which I think is a great thing to happen because that's what gives actors, writers, directors the scope to do something new.
Correct, correct.
वरना आप सेम चीजें ही करते रहते हैं.
और एज व्यूअर्स ऑल्सो देखने का एक अब अलग नजरिया बन जाता है. वेल वी हैव सम गुड न्यूज. बॉलीवुड हंगामा इज हैविंग इट्स फर्स्ट एवर OTT फेस्ट.
Okay.
And of course we'd like to invite you for it.
Oh, that would be lovely.
Because there are going to be a lot of things. There are workshops and panel discussions. There are awards and we'd love for you to be part of it.
I would love it.
So my question to you is, what are you currently watching that you would like to recommend?
I finished watching Kohra, is what I last saw, and I thought it was very well made. I'm a sucker for these murder mysteries, whodunits, thrillers. So anything new that comes there I'm the first person to put it on. And I finished watching it and I thought it was very, very nicely made. Very smartly directed, very smartly shot, and very nicely performed also by all actors. I think it was superb.
Lovely.
So I would recommend that if no one's seen it yet.
And finally, when is Akelli releasing, and what is the one thing you would like the audience who enter the cinema hall to watch this film to go with?
You know, since lockdown opened and theatres started, audiences have not come fully to theatres, and a lot of films suffered because of that.
True.
But as an industry, a lot of people braved and took the films to theatres, knowing that they're going to have less footfall,
Right.
that we are not going to see the bloom of what a film and a box office is. We are still at the short end of things. But they chose to release it in theatres, and they did it only for you all to come back to theatres. And they took a loss at a time right after COVID when everybody's gone through a bad time. We all cut prices and losses, and we've all done that. I think it's just time they kind of give it back now. I think it's time they support films that are releasing in theatres, choosing to release in theatres. We can very well choose to release it on OTT platforms as well. But we want the audience to experience the film on that large screen. We want them to come back to what they have loved
Missed,
and supported. Means I have seen numbers of people coming to theatres that are crazy, you know. And suddenly to see an empty theatre is just something breaks inside you. Your heart just goes like, it sinks, like what? So, I mean, I think that's also an attempt my producer has made, and it's his first time production.
Lovely.
And I think it's very brave that when he came to me with the film, I had only told him, मैंने कहा sir OTT ही लेके चलो, because situation बहुत ऊपर नीचे and it's your first film. I don't want you to suffer losses or whatever. He's gone out and done a full out theatre release,
Lovely.
not a technical release either. He's gone and fully done it. He said, I want to do a big theatre release. I want the people to experience this film in theatres. I'm just so full of warmth when you have producers that are willing to do that, and they're not doing it for their own money or the fact that they'll earn that much, whatever. They're doing it for the love of cinema and the love of audiences. So I'm just hoping that the content of the film, the story, us, kind of brings you back to us in theatres.
So the film is coming out on...
The film is out on the 25th of August of this month.
Right.
Which is a Friday, which is always what films release on. So I hope to see you in theatres.
Fantastic. This is a special invitation from Nushrratt. तो हाँ चलना ही पड़ेगा, but अकेले नहीं आना, सबके साथ आना, सह परिवार.
Please.
Thank you so much, Nushrratt, for always
Thank
being
you.
so warm and so amazing. I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
To many more conversations with Villabo.
Pink roses right
Villabo. My name is Urman. Thank you guys for watching us on Bollywood Hungama.
Hi, I'm Nushrratt Bharuccha, and you're watching me on Bollywood Hungama with the lovely Urman.